Hello and welcome! Silrace here with World of Warcraft. So, Midsummer World event is over, and I want to talk a bit about the bonfires. The bonfires you have dotted all over around the world, which you have achievements for to get those. Because I decided to finally do that on the European servers on the basically the second to last day of this particular event. I have done the whole bonfire acquisition thing some expansions ago on the American servers while I was playing there. And I had no idea it is actually this annoying now. Because of how many different zones have been retooled. So you have Zidormis, which is Zidormi is the lady you speak to in various zones to go back to previous time before the zone was essentially changed. Dark Shore and a whole heck of a lot of zones. I mean, there is a lot of zones where you have to talk to Zidormi first before you can see the bonfire. Which is kind of annoying, even with you know, maxed out flying and everything. You breeze along and then you come to a zone and you're like, wait, why can't I find the bonfire? Oh right, I need to talk to Zidormi. Thankfully, her location shows on the world map, so you just have to pay attention to whenever you go to a new zone. It's like, is there a white speech bubble somewhere on the map? Okay, I need to talk to her before, probably, very likely, before I can see the bonfire and actually interact with that. So it just makes this a little bit more annoying than just, you know, flying around and getting them. But the biggest problem for me is that I had to actually do the Cataclysm ones, specifically Mount Hijal, on a different character than my level 120 druid, because there is some kind of a quest from Magni or whatever. Like there is some kind of a quest dealing with the essences that prevents you from seeing the Mount Hijal bonfire. And there is no Zidormi anywhere in Mount Hijal. I spent about an hour looking this stuff up, and apparently a whole lot of people had this problem. And I didn't really find any good solutions. Some people were talking about specific quests and whatnot, and I had done those quests and so on. So I went and looked at Magni, and I didn't figure what is wrong there. And now obviously the event is over, and so I can't continue actually experimenting with that to find out what is actually causing that for me. I did leave feedback on that, and hopefully that will be changed and fixed for the next year, for 2021 Midsummer event, if in case somebody actually wants the achievements like I did. Because you do need Cataclysm. Now, I had a character below level 120, so it is one of those level 120 quests which deals with essences, I guess. At least that seems to be what most folks online agree, that it's one of those Magni's quests which causes this. But I can't verify that because I can't test it, and from my testing I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, the main point here is that it is really annoying now to actually do the whole bonfire thing. Because of like having to talk to Zidormi in so many zones, having to realize that hey, I actually have to talk to Zidormi here in these zones to go back into a, you know, previous time to do that. And this Mount Hijal thing, that was just the icing on the cake of like, okay, this is really silly. And I'm hoping that we see less retooling of old zones, like to have two different modes on those zones. I would love for us to have like more actual zones, or section off a part of an old zone like retool the old zone a little bit Cataclysm style, where you section off a small area of an old zone and make it only accessible to people who, you know, can access it for those quests, missions, whatever you need there to be in that zone from lore, from story you wanna tell, and so on. Hopefully that sort of stuff is more prevalent in the future, instead of just retooling like multiple layer upon layer of old zones, because I am a little afraid that eventually every single zone you fly into, you will have to talk to Zidormi or whatever NPC they will start using, and there will be like 3 different versions of every single zone. That will be confusing as heck, and that will break all these world events eventually. Anyway, I just wanted to ramble on about this a little bit. Thank you very much for watching and for listening, and hopefully you didn't have any of these problems. But if you did, well then welcome to the collab, I guess. Hopefully these are fixed for next year.